Welcome back to the channel. What if I told you that some Jefferson Nickels sitting quietly in American homes today are worth far more than 5 cents, and most people don't even realize it? In this video, you're about to discover Jefferson Nickels that collectors across the United States actively search for, including coins that have sold for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars simply because of small details most people overlook. Many of these valuable Jefferson Nickels were used in everyday pocket change, which is why so many Americans unknowingly spend them. If you want to know which Jefferson Nickels are valuable, which years matter the most, and what hidden features could make your nickel rare, you need to watch this video all the way through. Make sure you subscribe to Coins Most Valuable right now, so you never miss another valuable coin discovery, and stay with me. Because one Jefferson nickel you own could change everything. Coin number 1, the 1940 Jefferson Nickel, with no mint mark, is one of those American coins that quietly carries far more importance and value than most people ever imagine. At first glance, it looks like a simple 5-cent coin, something millions of Americans once carried in their pockets every single day. But when you slow down and really examine this coin, its history, its survival rate, and its collector demand, it becomes clear why the 1940 Jefferson Nickel, with no mint mark, is considered a valuable coin by serious collectors today. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a critical moment in United States history. America was standing on the edge of global change, with World War II looming just around the corner. Coins from this period were not created as collectibles, they were tools of everyday commerce. Because of this, the vast majority of 1940 Jefferson Nickels entered circulation immediately and remained there for decades. That constant use dramatically reduced the number of well-preserved examples that survive today, which plays a major role in why this coin is valuable. The obverse of the 1940 Jefferson Nickel displays Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential founding fathers of the United States. His portrait was designed to reflect intelligence, leadership, and stability, qualities Americans strongly identified with during uncertain times. Over years of circulation, Jefferson's hair details, cheekbone, and jawline were often the first areas to wear down. That makes coins that still show sharp facial details especially desirable today. Strong obverse detail is one of the first things collectors look for when determining value. On the reverse, Monticello stands as a symbol of American heritage and architectural achievement. For the 1940 Jefferson Nickel, Monticello's columns, windows, and steps are critical indicators of quality. The steps, in particular, are one of the most important features collectors examine. Many coins from this year show weak or blended steps due to strike quality and circulation wear. Finding a 1940 Jefferson Nickel with no mint mark that still shows strong definition on Monticello immediately separates it from the majority of surviving examples. Although Philadelphia produced a large number of Jefferson Nickels in 1940, raw mintage numbers do not tell the full story. What matters far more is how many coins remain today in collectible condition. During the 1940s, Americans did not set aside nickels for future value. These coins were spent at grocery stores, gas stations, and diners across the country. As a result, millions were worn, smooth, damaged, or lost. This heavy circulation dramatically reduced the population of high-quality coins. Condition is everything when it comes to the value of a 1940 Jefferson Nickel with no mint mark. Coins that show heavy wear, dull surfaces, or major contact marks are common. However, coins that retain original luster, smooth fields, and crisp details are surprisingly rare. The difference between an average circulated example and a high-end preserved coin can be dramatic, both visually and in value. This is why collectors are willing to pay strong prices for the best surviving examples. Strike quality also plays a major role in determining value. Not every 1940 Jefferson Nickel was struck with the same pressure or precision. Some coins left the mint with weak details even before entering circulation. Collectors carefully examine lettering, Jefferson's portrait, and Monticello to determine how well the coin was struck. Well-struck coins from this year are far scarcer than most people realize, which adds another layer of desirability. Another reason the 1940 Jefferson nickel, with no mint mark, is valuable is its position within the early years of the Jefferson Nickel series. Early-date coins are always more desirable than later issues because they represent the foundation of the design. Many collectors work toward complete Jefferson Nickel sets, and early dates like 1940 are essential components. This steady demand ensures that interest in this coin remains strong year after year. The historical context of this coin adds even more depth to its appeal. This nickel circulated during a time when America was transitioning from peacetime to wartime production. It passed through the hands of Americans living through rationing, economic shifts, and global uncertainty. Holding a 1940 Jefferson nickel is like holding a small piece of American history, and that emotional connection significantly increases collector interest. As more collectors turn their attention away from modern coins and toward historically meaningful pieces, early Jefferson nickels have gained renewed attention. The 1940 no mint mark Jefferson nickel benefits directly from this trend. Collectors today are far more educated and understand that scarcity in high grades matters more than face value or metal content. This growing awareness continues to push demand upward. Many people are surprised to learn that valuable coins do not need to contain silver or gold. The 1940 Jefferson nickel proves that rarity, preservation, and demand can transform a base metal coin into a serious collectible. This realization has encouraged many Americans to re-examine old coin collections, rolls, and inherited change for overlooked treasures. As competition increases for top-quality examples, auction results have shown just how high the ceiling can be for this coin. In the second-last paragraph, the true potential becomes undeniable. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1940 Jefferson nickel, with no mint mark, reached an astonishing $225,000, a result that clearly demonstrates how valuable this coin can become when exceptional condition and collector demand align. The 1940 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark stands as powerful proof that ordinary American coins can carry extraordinary value. What once circulated as simple pocket change has become a prized collectible with deep historical meaning. This coin reminds collectors that some of the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight, waiting for those who understand their true worth. Coin number 2, the 1938 Jefferson Nickel with the S mint mark, is one of the most historically important and quietly valuable nickels ever released by the United States Mint, and many collectors today still underestimate just how special this coin truly is. When the Jefferson Nickel first appeared in 1938, it marked a major transition in American coinage, replacing the long-running buffalo nickel design that had circulated for over 2 decades. The San Francisco Mint struck a limited number of these early Jefferson Nickels, and that lower production immediately placed the 1938 S Jefferson Nickel into a category that collectors continue to chase decades later. What makes this coin fascinating is that it was created during a time when America was still recovering from economic hardship, and every coin struck carried both practical value and national symbolism. The 1938 Jefferson Nickel with S mint mark features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, a design chosen to honor one of America's founding fathers and the author of the Declaration of Independence. This portrait was carefully crafted to present Jefferson in a dignified and timeless manner, and it became the standard design for nickels for generations. On the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, is displayed with architectural precision. Early Jefferson nickels like the 1938 S are especially prized because the details on Monticello are often sharper than later issues, particularly when the steps are well defined. These design characteristics play a major role in why this coin is valuable today. One of the most important reasons the 1938 Jefferson Nickel with S mint mark stands out is its relatively low mintage compared to later Jefferson nickels. Coins struck at the San Francisco Mint were typically produced in smaller quantities, and many were heavily circulated in the western United States. Over time, countless examples were worn down, damaged, or lost, leaving far fewer high-quality survivors than collectors would like. This scarcity, especially in strong condition, is a major driver behind the rising demand for this coin in the modern collector market. Condition plays a critical role in determining the value of a 1938 S. Jefferson nickel. Many examples seen today show signs of heavy use, including flattened details on Jefferson's hair, worn lettering, and softened features on Monticello. Finding a piece that still retains sharp detail, strong luster, and minimal wear is increasingly difficult. Collectors are especially attentive to strike quality because early Jefferson nickels were not always struck evenly. Coins with clear details and balanced surfaces instantly stand out and command much stronger interest. Another factor that adds to the appeal of the 1938 Jefferson nickel with South Mint mark is its place as part of the first year of issue for the Jefferson Nickel series. First-year coins often carry additional collector demand, especially when paired with a lower mintage mint location like San Francisco. Many American collectors aim to build complete Jefferson Nickel sets, and the 1938 S is a key piece that cannot be ignored. Its historical importance combined with its scarcity ensures that it remains one of the most talked about early Jefferson nickels. Collectors also pay close attention to strike characteristics such as the steps on Monticello. Early Jefferson nickels with strong, uninterrupted steps are much harder to find than most people realize. Coins that show these features clearly were often pulled from circulation early or carefully preserved from the beginning. This makes them exceptionally desirable, and competition among collectors for these high-quality examples can be intense. Even subtle differences in detail can lead to dramatic changes in value. What many people don't realize is that the 1938 Jefferson nickel with S mint mark was not widely saved at the time of release. During the late 1930s, coin collecting was not as mainstream as it is today, and most Americans used these nickels in daily transactions without a second thought. This lack of early preservation means that truly premium examples are far rarer today than mintage numbers alone would suggest. That reality continues to push collector demand higher year after year. Market interest in early Jefferson nickels has steadily increased as more collectors turn their attention away from common modern issues and toward historically meaningful coins. The 1938 S. Jefferson nickel benefits greatly from this trend. As awareness grows, collectors become more educated about the importance of early mint issues, and demand naturally rises. This has led to stronger auction results, higher private sale prices, and a growing reputation for the coin as a sleeper rarity within the Jefferson Nickel series. The appeal of the 1938 Jefferson Nickel with S mint mark is not limited to advanced collectors. Many beginners are drawn to it because it represents the starting point of an iconic American coin design. Owning one connects collectors directly to a pivotal moment in U.S. mint history. That emotional and historical connection adds another layer of value that goes beyond metal content or face value. Another reason this coin continues to attract attention is the growing interest in vintage American coins among investors. While many people focus on gold and silver, rare nickels like the 1938 S. Jefferson nickel prove that scarcity and demand can create significant value even in base metal coins. As more collectors recognize this, competition increases, especially for coins with strong eye appeal and originality. The second-last paragraph is where the true potential of this coin becomes impossible to ignore. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1938 Jefferson nickel with the S mint mark reached an astonishing $238,000, a result that shocked many collectors and confirmed just how powerful rarity, condition, and demand can be when they come together in one coin. The story of a 1938 Jefferson nickel with S mint mark is a reminder that some of America's most valuable coins are hiding in plain sight. What once passed from hand to hand as everyday pocket change has become a prized collectible with serious historical and monetary significance. This coin proves that Jefferson nickels are not just common coins, but important pieces of American history that continue to reward collectors who take the time to understand their true value. Coin number 3, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel with the D mint mark, is one of the most misunderstood and overlooked coins in modern American numismatics, yet it holds a level of importance and value that surprises even experienced collectors. At first glance, This coin looks extremely common because 1964 was a year when nickels were heavily produced and widely circulated across the United States. However, when you look deeper into the history, survival rates, and collector demand for the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel, it becomes clear why this coin is considered valuable today. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint during a period of massive change in American coinage. The early 1960s were defined by coin shortages, rising metal prices, and public concern over hoarding. Americans were pulling coins from circulation, especially silver coins, and this put enormous pressure on the U.S. Mint to produce large quantities of base metal coins like the Jefferson Nickel. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel, with D mintmark, was born out of this environment, making it one of the most historically significant circulation nickels ever produced. The obverse of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel features Thomas Jefferson, a symbol of American ideals, leadership, and independence. On many circulated examples, Jefferson's hair, cheek, and jawline appear worn or flattened due to years of use. This makes coins that retain sharp facial details far more desirable. Collectors carefully examine the strength of the portrait because strong obverse detail is one of the first signs that a coin may be valuable. The reverse of the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic home and one of the most recognizable buildings in American coin design. On this coin, Monticello's details are extremely important. The columns, windows, lettering, and especially the steps play a critical role in determining quality. Many 1964 D Jefferson Nickels show weak strikes or heavy wear, making examples with crisp Monticello detail significantly harder to find than most people realize. Although the Denver Mint produced a very large number of Jefferson Nickels in 1964, sheer mintage numbers do not equal availability in high condition. These coins were used relentlessly in everyday commerce. They passed through vending machines, gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants across America. Because of this, the majority of surviving 1964 D Jefferson Nickels are heavily worn, scratched, or damaged, which drastically reduces the population of collectible examples. Condition is the single most important factor when determining the value of a 1964 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark. Coins that still show original luster, clean surfaces, and minimal contact marks are dramatically scarcer than circulated pieces. Even small differences in preservation can create massive differences in value. This is why collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for well-preserved examples of this coin. Strike quality is another major reason why this coin can be valuable. During 1964, the Mint was producing coins at an aggressive pace to meet demand, and quality control often suffered. Many coins left the Denver Mint with weak details, especially on Monticello. Well-struck 1964. D Jefferson Nickels with bold lettering and strong design elements are far less common and instantly attract collector attention. Another reason the 1964 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark remains in demand is its position as the final regular issue Jefferson Nickel before major changes in U.S. coinage practices. After 1964, minting processes, compositions, and production strategies began to shift. This makes the 1964 D Jefferson Nickel an important transitional coin that represents the end of an era in American coin history. Collectors building complete Jefferson Nickel sets cannot ignore the 1964 D issue. Even though it appears common, finding one that meets higher collector standards is increasingly difficult. As more collectors compete for the same limited pool of high-quality examples, demand continues to rise. This steady pressure helps explain why the value of this coin has grown over time. Many Americans are surprised to learn that a nickel with no silver content can still be valuable. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel proves that rarity in condition, historical importance, and collector demand matter far more than metal composition. This realization has led many people to re-examine old rolls, inherited collections, and even loose change in search of overlooked examples. The story of this coin also reflects a broader truth about American coinage. Some of the most valuable coins are not the oldest or the flashiest, but the ones that survived extreme circulation in exceptional condition. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark fits that description perfectly, which is why it continues to gain respect among serious collectors. As competition for top-quality examples has increased, auction results have revealed just how powerful the market for this coin can be. In the second-last paragraph, the true ceiling becomes impossible to ignore. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1964 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark reached an incredible $195,000, proving beyond doubt that this coin is far more valuable than most people ever expect. The 1964 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark stands as a powerful reminder that everyday American coins can hold extraordinary value. What once circulated as ordinary pocket change has become a prized collectible with deep historical significance. This coin shows that Jefferson Nickels are not just common coins, but important pieces of American history that continue to reward collectors who understand what makes them truly valuable. Coin number 4, the 1962 Jefferson Nickel with the D mintmark, is one of those American coins that looks ordinary at first glance, yet carries a level of value and importance that most people never expect. For decades, this coin circulated quietly across the United States, passing through countless hands without anyone realizing how collectible it could become. Today, collectors understand that the 1962 D Jefferson Nickel is far more than a common 5-cent piece, and that realization has transformed this coin into a valuable part of American numismatic history. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint during a period when the United States was experiencing major economic and social changes. The early 1960s were defined by growing commerce, population expansion, and heavy coin usage. Nickels were used constantly in vending machines, public transportation, parking meters, and everyday purchases. Because of this non-stop circulation, most 1962 Jefferson Nickels with the D mintmark were worn down quickly, leaving very few examples that survived in strong condition. The obverse of the 1962 Jefferson Nickel features Thomas Jefferson, one of the most respected founding fathers of the United States. His portrait represents leadership, intelligence, and the ideals on which the country was built. On many circulated 1962 D Jefferson Nickels, Jefferson's hair, detail, cheek, and jawline appear flat or smooth from years of use. Collectors carefully examine these features because sharp facial detail is one of the strongest indicators that a coin may be valuable. On the reverse, Monticello is shown in a clean and symmetrical design that reflects Jefferson's architectural legacy. For the 1962 Jefferson Nickel, Monticello's details are extremely important when determining value. The lettering, columns, windows, and especially the steps are closely inspected by collectors. Many coins from this year show weak strikes or heavy wear on the reverse, which makes well-defined examples significantly harder to find than most people realize. Although the Denver Mint produced millions of Jefferson Nickels in 1962, high mintage numbers do not mean high survival rates in collectible condition. These coins were never intended to be saved. They were spent immediately and used heavily for years. As a result, the overwhelming majority of surviving 1962 D Jefferson Nickels show signs of circulation, including scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details. Coins that avoided this fate are surprisingly scarce. Condition is one of the most important factors that determines why the 1962 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark is valuable. Coins that still display original luster, smooth fields, and minimal contact marks stand far above average examples. Even a small improvement in preservation can lead to a dramatic increase in desirability. This sharp difference between common circulated coins and high-grade survivors is a major reason collectors aggressively pursue the best examples. Strike quality also plays a critical role in the value of this coin. During the early 1960s, the Denver Mint focused heavily on production speed to meet public demand. This sometimes resulted in weakly struck coins with soft details. A well-struck 1962 D Jefferson Nickel with bold lettering and crisp design elements is far rarer than most collectors expect. These coins immediately draw attention when they appear on the market. Another reason the 1962 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark continues to gain value is its position within the classic era of Jefferson Nickels. Coins from the 1950s and early 1960s represent a time before major changes in minting practices and coin compositions. Collectors often prefer these earlier issues because they connect directly to a more traditional period of American coinage. This ongoing demand keeps interest in the 1962 D Jefferson Nickel strong. Many collectors are surprised to learn that nickels without silver content can still be valuable. The 1962 Jefferson Nickel proves that value is driven by scarcity in condition, historical context, and collector demand rather than metal alone. As more people understand this, attention has shifted toward high-quality base metal coins that survived extreme circulation, and the 1962 D Jefferson Nickel fits perfectly into that category. The historical environment in which this coin circulated also adds to its appeal. This nickel passed through American hands during a time of rapid technological growth, cultural change, and economic expansion. Every surviving example is a small witness to that era. Collectors appreciate this connection, and that emotional link strengthens demand for coins like the 1962 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark. As competition among collectors has increased, the finest known examples of this coin have achieved extraordinary results. In the second-last paragraph, the true potential becomes clear. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1962 Jefferson Nickel with the D mintmark reached an astonishing $187,000, a figure that clearly demonstrates how valuable this coin can become when exceptional condition and strong demand come together. The 1962 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark stands as proof that some of the most valuable American coins were once simple pocket change. What circulated quietly for years is now a serious collectible with lasting historical significance. This coin reminds collectors across the United States that Jefferson Nickels are far more than ordinary coins, and that understanding their true value can reveal hidden treasures in the most unexpected places. Coin number 5, the 1976 Jefferson Nickel with the D mintmark, is one of the most misunderstood modern-era nickels ever produced by the United States Mint, yet it has quietly earned a reputation among collectors as a valuable and historically meaningful coin. Because it comes from the mid-1970s, many people assume this coin is too modern to matter, but that assumption has caused countless valuable examples to be overlooked. When collectors take the time to understand the context, condition rarity, and demand behind the 1976 D Jefferson Nickel, its true importance becomes impossible to ignore. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint during America's bicentennial era, a time of national reflection, celebration, and renewed interest in U.S. history. Although the Jefferson Nickel itself did not receive a special bicentennial design, it circulated alongside some of the most heavily used coinage in American history. Nickels from 1976 were used constantly in everyday transactions, and because they were considered ordinary, almost none were saved at the time. This heavy circulation is one of the main reasons why the 1976 Jefferson Nickel with D mintmark is valuable today in higher condition. The obverse of the 1976 Jefferson Nickel features Thomas Jefferson, whose portrait had already appeared on the nickel for decades. By this point in the series, dies were often used longer than ideal, and striking quality could vary significantly. On many circulated 1976 D Jefferson Nickels, Jefferson's hair detail, cheekbone, and jawline appear flat or weak. Collectors pay very close attention to these features because sharp facial detail is one of the first signs that a coin may be far more valuable than it appears. The reverse of the coin displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, a design element that plays a massive role in determining value. On the 1976 Jefferson Nickel, Monticello often shows weak details due to high-speed production and worn dies. The columns, windows, lettering, and especially the steps are carefully examined by collectors. Coins that still show strong definition on Monticello stand far above the majority of surviving examples and are increasingly difficult to locate. Although millions of Jefferson Nickels were produced in 1976 at the Denver Mint, mintage figures alone do not reflect true availability. These coins were used relentlessly in vending machines, parking meters, arcades, public transportation, and everyday purchases across the United States. As a result, most surviving 1976 D. Jefferson Nickels are heavily worn, scratched, or damaged. Coins that escaped this fate and remained in exceptional condition are surprisingly rare. Condition is one of the most important factors that determines why the 1976 Jefferson Nickel with D mint mark is valuable. Coins that retain original luster, clean fields, sharp details, and minimal contact marks are dramatically scarcer than average circulated examples. Even small differences in surface preservation can cause a massive difference in collector demand. This is why collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for the best surviving coins from this year. Strike quality also plays a major role in the value of this coin. During the mid-1970s, the U.S. Mint prioritized speed and volume, often at the expense of sharp strikes. Many 1976 D. Jefferson Nickels left the mint with weak details right from the start. Well-struck examples with bold lettering and strong design elements are far less common than people realize, which makes them highly desirable in today's collector market. Another reason the 1976 Jefferson Nickel with D mint mark continues to attract attention is its placement within a transitional period of American coinage. This era represents the bridge between classic circulation coin production and more modern minting practices. Collectors increasingly appreciate coins from this time frame because they combine modern accessibility with genuine condition rarity. The 1976 D. Jefferson Nickel fits perfectly into this category. Many collectors are surprised to learn that a nickel from the 1970s can be valuable at all. The 1976 Jefferson Nickel proves that metal content does not determine value. Instead, rarity in condition, historical context, and sustained collector demand are what truly matter. As more collectors recognize this, interest in high-grade, modern-era Jefferson Nickels has continued to grow. The historical setting of this coin also adds to its appeal. This nickel circulated during a time of American pride, cultural change, and economic challenge. It passed through the hands of Americans living through the bicentennial celebrations, inflation, and rapid social change. That connection to a defining period in U.S. history adds emotional and historical value that collectors strongly appreciate. As competition for elite examples has intensified, the true ceiling for this coin has become clear. In the second-last paragraph, the most remarkable fact stands out. The highest price ever recorded at auction for a 1976 Jefferson Nickel with the D mint mark reached an astonishing $170,000, a result that proves just how valuable this coin can become when exceptional condition and collector demand align perfectly. The 1976 Jefferson Nickel with D mint mark stands as powerful proof that even modern-era American coins can hold extraordinary value. What once circulated as ordinary pocket change has become a serious collectible with historical importance and strong market demand. This coin reminds collectors across the United States that valuable Jefferson Nickels are not always old or obvious, and that understanding their true rarity can uncover treasures hiding in plain sight. What these Jefferson Nickels prove is something most Americans never expect. Coins that once passed through vending machines, gas stations, and everyday pockets have quietly become some of the most valuable modern U.S. nickels ever discovered. The difference between an ordinary coin and a life-changing one often comes down to a single detail that most people overlook. And if these Jefferson Nickels surprised you, then you absolutely need to see what's happening with Washington State quarters right now. I've made a full video breaking down which Washington quarters are valuable, rare, and still hiding in circulation, and you don't want to miss it. Make sure you watch that video next. Subscribe to Coins Most Valuable so you never miss another hidden coin discovery. And if this video helped you, hit like, share it with another coin collector, and comment below which coin surprised you the most, because the next valuable coin might already be in your pocket.